Getting good at one thing can be a challenge in itself. So getting good at two, like what Jason Greenberg has done with his expertise in sports media and remote production, and as a father of three, be good at both of those things. That's a sight to see, and one thing and one reason why we are going to be celebrating him on this podcast today. I'm Bryan Fenley. This is the On to Something podcast, a place where we bring on those in sports media, and we don't just focus on their work, not even close, as you're about to see here today. Our chat with Jason delves into his loving bond with his wife and his three daughters. And as a family, as a team, they are producing modern miracles every day at home. This is a story you're going to need to watch, and it comes to you now. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe. Here is my chat with Jason. It is an absolute pleasure to have you on. I appreciate you so much for being on the platform.
This is great. I've watched a lot of your past works and looking forward to this. This will be fun. Yeah.
Well, so much of what you're known for when it comes to work is your expertise in sports media, remote production. You are an expert. You're sort of like an action figure in that industry. But you know what? You're also a superhuman superhero at home. And for those who know and are familiar with this conversation platform, we're going to go down that road of family life for you and experience what it's like being you as the father of three, which as I'm talking to you now, how hard is it to get free time when you've got three kiddos running around all over the place?
Yeah, yeah, you have to have a good space in your house with insulated walls and ceilings and quiet where you can sneak away and do great work projects like this. But yeah, never a dull moment. Three girls. I'm in my approaching my late 40s, and I don't have as much on my fastball anymore. I equate myself to like Nolan Ryan. I'm throwing about 86. I'm not throwing 96 anymore, but yeah, three kids under the age of seven, so never a dull moment around here.
How much do they follow what you do in your career?
I think, at this age, they're sponges. They pick up everything. I was really lucky to work the NBA Finals most recently, and I took my daughter to a Miami Heat game when we were on vacation down in Florida in April, and now she's obsessed. So she made mommy stay up every night or try to watch some of the games at night and really get. Into it, and it's really neat when you work on a project and your daughter can actually see the tangible work that you're doing.
So much of the work that you're doing at home is not something that we all see. And for you, obviously, you just had Mother's Day not too long ago, and you mentioned your wife. What does she bring to the table? And how much has she enriched your life from a family standpoint, but just having her in your life?
She's a saint. I'm sure you get a common response with, I guess, the other guests you've had on here, whether it's a husband or wife or partner that is in a relationship with somebody in this business. It's ruthless at times. You're on the road, you're traveling, nights, weekends, holidays, and she, goes with the flow. At times it's tough. We collaborate and work together, but without my wife Kim, this wouldn't be possible. And an extra layer in my personal life is I have a daughter with special needs, so it brings an extra layer, to the table. And we collaborate together, but it's certainly not easy. And she rocks it, and hits it out of the park every time. With taking care of my kids and when I'm on the road and family members, and it's she's a special lady.
You, as a father, you have to be able to tap into your kids' feelings, or at least try to, and what they're going through, including one of your daughters who you mentioned. How are you there for her whenever she needs you?
You just try to, when you have your downtime, really be hands on. She's I wouldn't call it nonverbal, but she has word approximations, but she's able to understand everything, and she has a really great, special relationship with me. And she's now 7, and you see her grow and see exponentially how she's grown. From walking at first at 4.5 years old to now. and the growth that she's made. I'm able to like get in the pool with her, and she loves just splashing around in the pool. A typical 7-year old would be doing laps in the pool. She's just content, playing and splashing. And she's made me and my wife, better people. But for me, personally, I'm able to do a lot of things with her now that 4 years ago we never thought were even in reach.
You didn't think those things were in reach, but as a family, you've been by her side. And how have you attacked this together as a family and what she's going through?
Well, we live in a town called Westport, Connecticut, which has an incredible school system. And in our public school system, she gets tons of services. She gets speech therapy, occupational therapy. She actually does therapy on the horse. She does therapy in the pool. So we've really seen her grow, and we have a great team of therapists working with her. And everyone loves Parker. That's my daughter, and because she's just a sweet, sweet girl who never complains, and has a great work ethic. And our team, led by my wife, who schedules and pickups and drop offs, and it's nonstop. But working together, she bears the majority of it. Certainly when I'm on the road, but as a team, we work together and tackle whatever is thrown at us. And we've certainly had lots of obstacles, and from her medical conditions and health, we've had some serious scares and trips to the ERs, and it's nonstop with her, just because it's such a rare genetic condition. We don't know really what the future brings, but we tackle one day at a time. We don't let we call it small bumps in the road, and we just keep moving forward.
How do you wish you could take the pain away?
You know what? It's is I think when she was first diagnosed with this genetic disorder at age 2, we were shocked because it was our first child. We didn't really know how to really grasp it, tackle it. But now, as I said, she's like a blessing, and she's taught us so much. And yes, there is that pain. You don't want to think too far ahead. That she's not going to go to college, or she might not tackle these milestones, but she's proved us wrong every time. Every time we think she might not be able to do something, she's done something. As I said, we didn't think she'd be able to walk, and at 4.5, surprisingly, just with all of her hard work and the help from her therapist, she started walking. So, as I said, I wouldn't call her nonverbal, but she has very limited and delayed vocabulary. Maybe she'll start talking, but we don't really know what the future brings with this genetic disorder. But it is painful, but you know what, we turn it into positive optimism, and you try not to get sad and down. But she brings us up, certainly on the other side of things. And she's made me, I mentioned earlier, and my wife, just better people. And it really puts everything in perspective.
What were you feeling the moment you saw her walk for the first time?
I was like bawled and lost it, and in tears. And it was a video my wife had, happened to capture it, and you could just hear my wife's inflection and voice, and she was just so happy and ecstatic. And Parker was so happy. She knew she accomplished something, and knew all the hard work that she had put in, had paid off. But once again, we call these little Parker milestones, and these little milestones are small, but to us, they're really impactful. And her sisters, her two younger sisters, see these and push her along, which is great. So maybe there's a toy that she wants. Maybe her younger sister might grab it. That's motivation for her to stand up and walk and grab it. So things like that. We're all in this together as a family. And her sisters understand there's something different with Parker. But certainly, with that, these incredible milestones that are emotional and really special.
How does she share her love for you all?
She's very affectionate. She kisses, she hugs. It's funny, one day at school, I think my wife might have gotten like a phone call from one of the teachers that just knew her, and Parker was kissing and hugging everyone. And at a typical 7-year-old, you're told to kind of maybe not kiss the opposite boy, But for Parker, it's just out of endearing love, and everyone in her class understands that. But she's very affectionate. She loves to hug. She loves to laugh. She's always giggling, and she might not be able to verbalize that, but she understands everything. And she gives the best hugs and kisses, and she's very affectionate.
How has seeing her maturation process affected your own priorities for yourself in life?
I think it just puts everything into perspective. I know that's cliche, but it's really true when you're living it every day. As challenging as everyone's lives are, and they have difficulties, just kind of, getting through day to day. It really puts everything in perspective with her and the future that she has. And as parents, you just want to do everything in your power to give her the best possible life, because things are going to be different for her. She might not be able to hold a job or go to college or live by herself. And, knowing that, put everything into perspective, and you really try to, not sweat the small stuff. And as I said, that's a cliche you hear all the time, but it's really true in our life because we're living it firsthand, and knowing, like, as bad as you might have it, like, and she's able to live a decent life. There's people that have it even worse. So it puts it into perspective, perspective for, special needs families, perspective, into, families, when you see a kid and, he or she might be acting out, maybe there's something different with that child. And, the first instinct, at first, maybe you see a child acting out and you're in a public place, your first instinct might be to be like, oh, they need to calm that child down, but not realizing that child might have serious issues. And it really now puts it into perspective, living with it firsthand, that before you get upset, in public or on an airplane, a child acting out, now I realize, like, that child might have some serious issues, and it puts everything in perspective.
The way in which she puts into perspective and you see her fight, you mentioned that. But at the core of who she is, what does that fight look like on a day-to-day basis?
She's tireless in her work ethic. She, only wants to, please mommy and daddy. She, is always, she's polite. She has her, we call it Parkerisms, like her language. We, some other people might not understand, but we can tell when she's saying thank you or please, or, she just wants to, in therapy, she works really, really hard because she knows, like, things are potentially obtainable, and she wants to continue to grow, and she just wants to, please us. She's so polite. Everyone loves Parker in school. Our school system just ended a few days ago, and I went to pick her up on the last day of school, and every kid, in her class, to, kids in third grade and fourth grade and fifth grade, in the hallways, were all Parker, Parker, giving her big hugs. And she's almost like an unofficial mascot at our school. And, and they love Parker. And, she's so sweet. And, everyone knows Parker. So it's really nice.
How much of you do you see in her?
Um, my wife might not like this comment, but my wife is very type A, go getter. I am a little more passive, to, so I have more of a different style than my wife. My wife is very assertive in a great way, very good at getting things done. And I kind of have a different approach. The running joke in our house is, Parker is like myself, more like calm and chill, opposites attract. My wife and I have, different styles, but it works. But, certainly with Parker, she's very laid back and relaxed. And I see that a lot in her, as well as myself.
What was the day like the first day you met your wife to be?
Yeah, we met in New York City. We were living in Manhattan. We actually met on the internet. I'm Jewish, so we met on JDate. And yeah, it was a it kissed enough frogs over the years till I finally met the right one. And it's been coming up on 9 years now, and we have three beautiful kids and a beautiful home in the suburbs in Connecticut. And yeah, she's been really special, and it was instant attraction, and it's we've accomplished a lot in those 9 plus years. Yeah.
What about what you've accomplished as far as a lot in these 9 years? If you were to meet her and go to those initial times when you met her, would be such a wild surprise to think that you didn't know where that was going, what you would accomplish, but what in your wildest dreams have you been able to accomplish together that maybe when you first met or even before dating her that you didn't know was possible?
Right. Well, I think like we met a little bit later. I was in my mid to late 30s. She was in her early 30s. So we weren't wasting time with, we both were on the same page with starting a family. We knew we wanted to have multiple kids. We knew we both had lived in Manhattan in New York City for many years, and we knew we wanted to move outside of the city. So we were on the same page with a lot of things. And obviously, having our first child, was a real curveball with special needs. But you know what? Having that together, we've been able to tackle that, and knowing that we've been able to tackle that challenge together, and we've grown stronger. It hasn't always been easy, but knowing that we've been able to tackle this together solidifies the fact that she's the one that I needed to be with, and certainly moving forward it's a bright future ahead with our three kids and our family.
You all make a beautiful, wonderful, loving team. And I want to leave you with this last question, Jason. Having three kids, how does that allow you to tap back into your own childhood and relive your own childhood?
Well, it's funny. I have three girls, so that's a different dynamic. I was the jock, who my mom had to, pull me away from my friend's house, at dark, shooting baskets and outside. And now I get my hair, not much of it left anymore, but braided, and my nails done, and playing with dolls, and going to dressing up. They dress me up. So it's a different dynamic in the house. But certainly it's great for me now. It's been with my oldest, haven't been able to do too much, but even just taking, as I said earlier, I took my daughter to a working in this business, took my daughter to a sporting event for the first time a few months ago. And it was just really, really special. As a dad who was kind of deprived of, my first daughter not been able to hadn't been able to do that yet. It was, at age 5, I took my daughter to her first professional game, and it was an emotional night for me. It was really special because I had done those things with my dad, who unfortunately passed away prematurely, and was able to have those sentimental, emotional moments with my daughter. And then moving forward now, now they're, in camp and playing sports, and, my daughter's playing soccer, and, kind of finding herself, whether it's, sports or swimming, and, just being able to do all these things, when I'm not working with this crazy job. You're working, at times, many, many hours, but when you're off, you're off. And the positive of that is you really get that extended quality time with your kids, on a school day, after school or early in the morning, where if you had a traditional desk job, you wouldn't have that. So, with my daughters, the downtime I really cherish, and it's been really special.
In that downtime, what do you like to dress up as, or what do they make you dress up as? What is your favorite thing?
Well, we're working for Disney. We have lots of Disney. We have lots of Disney characters in our house, and the Disney machine keeps pumping out new Disney characters every few years. So anytime there's a new character that comes out, we're quick to get a costume or outfit. But certainly, any and all princesses are popular in our house, and more than one occasion, I've been forced to dress up, or or my wife dress up, or sing at the top of our lungs different music to a Disney movie.
And I'm sure you're hitting all the notes when
Oh
you're
yeah,
singing.
Sure.
I got to say that as much as they make you dress up, as I started out this conversation saying, there's a superhuman superhero inside of you, considering what you've been able to do as a family with everything going on. So maybe you haven't dressed up as Superman yet, but every day you are a Superman into your family, into all those like myself who you inspire. So I am so thankful for you being able to share your story from the heart and allowing us into your life and how you are able to do what you've been able to do. And it's just a beautiful saga of inspiration and learning. Jason, I'm Bryan Fenley. Thanks so much for joining me here. Really, really appreciate it.
This was great. Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for having me on.